folks, welcome to another Brant Rant. Tonight I'll be speaking to you about the carnival, but not just the carnival itself, but a specific event that had happened at around Saturday, 9:45 to 10 p.m. Now what had happened is, apparently, now this is not what I have seen, it is what I have heard, so I'm not sure. Apparently one kid started talking shit, and another kid did as well. And one of the kids had thrown a punch. Now, what had started happening after that is that two factions began to form. There was the faction that I respect, and the faction that I consider a bunch of goons. So, when I walked up to the group, I saw that the two small individuals of of both factions were going at it. So I walked up to the small individual of the respectable faction, and I kind of whispered into his ear. I said, "Bro, if you need me, I got your back." Now, him probably being very easily agitatable because he had been apparently almost punched, and he was very, in such an adrenaline rush. He had told me, "Brant, I don't need your help," and I'm sure and I don't care even if he didn't want my help, I still would have given it to him anyways, because that's what a brother does, and most guys get very, very arrogant when they are angry and etc. So after this, after I told him this, he was backing away from the circle, if you will, as this had happened. Now, what had happened after that is that I had kind of moved over to where the smaller individual of the faction I respected was. Now, all of a sudden, they started focusing the goon faction started focusing their attention on this other kid I didn't know, I didn't really care for. So since I didn't really know him, I wasn't going to back him up, even though he was on my faction side. He wasn't. He was the main man. So since he was the spotlight kid, I didn't feel the obligation they needed to back him up, since I don't even know him. But they were talking crap, and all of a sudden, one of the goons decides, I know who the goon is, I cannot state his name, and I know about half of the people in this fight, obviously. So, one of the goons leaps over this very tall individual to try to deck the individual of the respectable side's, face. Now, whether he hit him or not, I'm not sure. I didn't really see. It kind of looked like it did. It was a very sloppy punch, and it's understandable why. I mean, he was hopping as he tried to punch. Now, I have no respect for the kid that did this, and I have very specific reasons for it. But anyways, so what had happened then is this kid talked shit for about another minute or so. He walked off, and then I was standing almost 2 or 3 feet away from this main individual of the fight now, who was basically standing there and taking it. Now, this individual is a friend of a friend, or just he's a good friend, actually. He's a friend from a class that I'm in, and so I stood to his left. I was his left-hand man, basically, for about 3 to 4 minutes. Now, all I needed to do was wait for him to deck somebody, and there would have been some brawling going on, because I was going to deck somebody if he had decided he was going to initiate the fight. Now, him being the calm, cool, and collected individual he is, he stood there and then he just walked away. And I'm glad, because the other faction wasn't worth anybody's time, because they're just a bunch of goons. Even though they need an ass whipping, it'll just make them angrier, and they'll come back for more. This has been another Brant Rant. Hope you enjoyed it. It's probably not that interesting, just because I'm just kind of bragging about how I was somebody's left-hand man during a fight. And just as an FYI, I had my adrenaline pumping, all that other bullshit that happens during a fight, as this individual's left-hand man. And the reason I wasn't his right hand is because to his right was a girl that was kind of just spectating. And, I didn't want to push her aside, so I said, I'll just take the left hand. And so that's why I was there. Now, I'm sure nobody really noticed, because nobody really cares. They only focus on the center circle. But on a side note, I was thinking about just declaring neutrality, asking for the center, and speaking, giving out a Brant Rant. But the problem I had with that is I know that the Goon clan would probably have decked me for no reason, just because I was being a, quote, douchebag for trying to solve everybody's issues with words. Because Let's face it, folks, the pen is much mightier than the sword. Or in this case, my voice is much more powerful than the sword. Or fists. Whatever you want to say. So yeah, this has been another Brant Rant. Have a good day.